Next thing is we will implement this dynamic value within this last modified date. Okay. So how to do that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to create, let's publish this first. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to create a new pipeline, a fresh pipeline, which I will name as PL underscore last modified using dynamic functionality. Okay. So you know the concept of dynamic, which I had explained you. What I will do, I will simply extract this copy activity, and this time I'm going to use a new data set because I don't want to, create the same stuff. I'm going to do it from scratch. So I have chosen this AD Gen 2. I will use binary, and the reason is because I'm selecting a folder, and within that folder any kind of file might be available, right? So DS, I am using this PBI input. Okay, so let me first check what is PBI input. This is the folder which I created. This folder is having, 1, 2, 3, 4 files and one more file. Okay, and it was again uh, loaded previous date. Okay, so what we will do, we will use some functionality, or maybe what we can do. Okay, I will come to the point first. Let's, okay, let me type this would be the logical name. I'm going to hit this PBI input. Okay, so this is nothing but I created a data set using ADLS Gen 2 link services. I selected a file type is binary. Why binary? Because this is a folder, and this folder might contain any kind of data. It contains JSON file, it can contain, CSV file, Excel file, any kind of file, text file, right? Because I'm not differentiating within the file. So I have selected the path, and that's it. I will hit OK. This will become my data set. And within this data set, I have to use this. So previously I have used hard-coded value, but now I'm not going to use any hard-coded value, but I will write some expressions. Okay. And expression means what I'm going to do is, first of all, in this PBI input, right, I am having multiple files. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I will modify any one of the file just now in front of you. Correct. So last modified date will be the of, you know current date based on UTC time zone. Okay, so let's first modify any file. I will go there. I will go inside this sales CSV one. I will go to edit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some changes. So this thing I made it 00000, something like that. I don't care. I'm just hitting on save, right? And I'm just closing this file. So you can see that the last modified date has changed. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce the dynamic pipeline, dynamic expression. Okay, this dynamic expression will only read the file based on last changes. Okay, so what I will do, I will hit on this dynamic content. Now here the purpose of this dynamic content is, what do you mean by expression? Expression is nothing but a kind of logic. For example, if you have to create a formula like calculator, right? you are doing multiplication. So multiplication, you will write some expression to multiply the two numbers, right? In a similar way, we can have any kind of expression. So if we have something known as functions, we have something known as parameters. So I will get back to you in another classes. What do you mean by parameters, system variables, right? And other thing, functions and variables. So there are four things you need to understand, but right now we only want to insert date, right now date and time has to be inserted. So we will go inside this function. We have something known as date function. In this date function, right, what we will do, we will first enter UTC now. UTC now is just now, we all know what is the current time right now. So current time for UTC you have checked. It is something like 14th of December, 4 a.m., 4:10 a.m. maybe, or 4:17 a.m. it would be. Correct? This is the UTC now. Now you want to run this pipeline, fetch the data, okay, from this container PBI input, which has changed within last 1 hour. So what we can do, we can move our cursor here and we will use add hours, right? And what we will do, we will erase this bracket, and we will, what we will do, we will put a comma and we will use -1. -1 means it will subtract 1 hour from UTC now. So what is the value of UTC now right now? The value of UTC now, I'm going to explain. First, let me complete this expression, right? It is showing some error. So if you click on this error, this icon will come, you hit on this icon and you will put rename into add. So now error has moved out. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what I have done so far. So what is UTC now? UTC now is nothing but current date and time. Okay. Current date and time in UK, right? What is the current date and time in UK? So current date and time is 14th of December 24, okay, year 2024. The time is right now, you can check also, 4 a.m. 19 minutes. Okay, this is UTC, correct? And at what time I change this file? I change this file maybe 4:10. Okay, just 9 minutes before, in front of you. Correct. So what I'm trying to do here with this logic, what I'm trying to do is I want to make a start date, okay, with UTC now -1. -1 means 1 hour before. So I want to make my start date. Right now, what is UTC now? 4:19. So I want to make this start date like this. Okay. So like this. Instead of 4:19, I want to make this at 3:19. This will be my start date. And what will be my end date? My end date will be this one. Okay. So this is the concept of dynamic, passing the values. It means it will not be hard coded value, but it will depend on the system time. Right? Agree? So this is what I'm doing. I'm using add expression, and within this UTC now I'm subtracting with 1. Add hours. So it will subtract 1 hour from this. If you have to subtract 1 day, then instead of add hours you will use add days. If you have to subtract 30 minutes from UTC now, you will subtract add minutes. Right? The same way. Got it? So I will hit on OK. And what is the end time? As per this expression, guys, end time is UTC now. What is the current time? So again, I will hit on dynamic content. Again, I will go to functions. Again, I will go to date functions. And again, I will go to UTC now. If you're not able to, find it like this, you can type here also. Okay, UTC. Okay, so I will hit on UTC now. Simple. And I will hit on OK. Great. So this has done, but we have not used sync. So I will hit on sync and I will create this ADLS Zen2. Okay, I will hit again binary, and this time Okay, DS. I can reuse that data set also, but let's create a new one. Oh, I will use this DS. You can say uh, binary. Okay, data set, something like that. Okay, I can use this one, and I can create a separate container. So let's create ABC output one, something like that. Okay. Any questions so far? I will hit on OK. So far, we are good to go. So let me first debug this. There's no difference. Okay. You can publish also first and debug it, but I want to check the results. If any error comes, instead of publishing it directly, I should be able to know, right? So now you can see this has succeeded. So if it is succeeded, what I should do, I should go to my container. I should refresh this, and if at the moment I refreshed, I see that another this container has created automatically because I have mentioned this ABC output one. So if I go inside this ABC output, there is only one file, guys, which I modified, right? So my logic is working fine, correct? Because this is the only file within this PBI import which I modified in front of you, correct? And the same file, the modified time has changed. And what I did in copy activity, I have used this as an expression in the source. You can see this expression was used. It means whatever file is modified during last 1 hour, it will only pick that file. Make sense? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so that's all the use case of copy activity using modified date and time for dynamic parameters, dynamic values.